Hey YouTube, so got an expensive guitar, a fancy one. This is I've just done a video on this and the bloody microphone wasn't working, so a waste, so I'm going to try and double it up and we'll try and make this 10 minutes long rather than 20. So, serial number is N3. Am I right in thinking that's 93? Because you definitely get an S8, because my Music Masters are 78. You definitely get E8 for 88, so N3, 93, something like that. So this is someone will probably correct me if I'm wrong. This is a Strat Plus, which is like a fancy modern Strat from 1993. So it's got some upgraded features maybe. So we have lace sensor pickups. I talked about this in the last video, but nobody's going to see that because there was no sound. So these actually are the ones that actually say Fender lace sensor on them, and that one's blue, that one's gold, and that one's red, like the writing on them. I've got a couple of lace sensors kicking about. I've got one in my photo flame Strat. It's the gold one, which I've actually got in the middle position, which I think must be right because this one's gold. I also got given a red one because I upgraded my pal Chris's Strat to having a hot reel in the bridge, and he gave me the old pickup. So I've got a modern bridge red one and an old original one of these. There was a bit of a litigation going on about when lace sensors came out. The only way you could buy these fantastic new pickups, which I've been messing about with it, they kind of just sound like really good pickups. They do look a bit like EMGs, but EMGs sound different to normal pickups. These don't, but they're noiseless. So I think that's kind of what they're meant to be. They're just meant to be, yep, these are just Strat pickups without the noise. Kind of what they seem to do. Yeah, there was a problem with so the only way you could get them. I know I used to had a guitar with Dawn lace pickups in it, which kind of looked the same. Dawn lace, not lace sensor. I think what happened was he'd sold the pickups to Fender, not realising that in this fine print somewhere was, oh, and by the way, you're not allowed to sell them yourself. So there was a point when people were, oh, I fancy those new lace sensors for my old 60s Strat, I'll just buy them. Oh no, you can't, you have to buy the whole guitar to get these pickups. Not now, you can now buy them separately. There was also a similar thing that was much worse happened to Bill Lawrence. He did a guitar, a pickup called the Velvet Brick, which went in a Gibson Sonex in the 80s, and basically it turned out he'd sold his name to Gibson, so he was no longer allowed to make Bill Lawrence pickups. So he tried, my Schecter Telecaster has OBL pickups, which is original Bill Lawrence, made in Germany, because he wasn't allowed to use Bill Lawrence. And my friend Mr. Whitesnake said he had an Epiphone Nighthawk that had Bill Lawrence branded pickups in it, and he said they were shite, absolutely terrible. So I think there was a little bit of nastiness there on Gibson's part, where they owned the name Bill Lawrence, put them in this one thing, and then Bill Lawrence tried to make his own pickups and sell them under OBL. Whether they were the same pickups or not really sure. And ended up, so they bought the name, so they intentionally put Bill Lawrence on shit pickups. Like, I don't think they do it now the way they used to, but Gibson definitely put intentionally shit pickups in an Epiphone. Like the era of mine's what, 96, 97, something like that. My Epiphone SG, the pickups in it were awful, and I think maybe this is completely made up, but the difference between that and my Gibson SG, sound wise, is 100 miles. The Gibson is so much better sounding than what the Epiphone was. Put new pickups in the Epiphone and now they both sound, because it's one of those things, you go into a shop, they're selling two guitars, the Epiphone one and the Gibson one, they both kind of look the same. One of them at the time was 250 and the other one was like 750, and if they both sound similar, you're going to buy the £250 one. So they put intentionally shit ones in it so you didn't buy that instead of the Gibson. You know, you're going to try the Gibson. Oh, I went and tried the Gibson, 750, pretty good, but I had a shot at the Epiphone at 250 and it sounded almost the same, so I just bought that one. You know, so that didn't happen. But I think they were dicks about it. Somebody was a bit of a dick about it. Anyway, so Strat Plus American, it's beautiful. It really is. It's one of the best Strats I've ever played. It's got a funny, it's not the LSR roller nut, but it's something like that. Sort of low friction fancy brushed aluminium nut. It's also got locking tuners on it. Probably about as early as locking tuners were. 93, you know, I thought they were more modern than that, but I think the front edge of technology. 2-point bridge, big solid steel block on the back of it. The tone control, not 100% sure exactly how it works or what it does, but it's got like a double height pot on it, so it's like 2 pots on top of each other. You know, no pushy pull or anything like that, but for some, it must be better. Just the tone for the middle pickup does something else. I don't know, it'll be called a Tone Plus or something like that, I'd imagine. Bridge pickup. One-piece maple neck. Very nice carve. Almost, it feels exactly the same as my Schecter Strat neck that I've got, apart from it's... So they obviously copied it very accurately. I suppose technically Schecter kind of used to make this before Fender did. You know, if you wanted up in the late 70s, early 80s, if you wanted a higher spec Fender, there wasn't really one better than an American Standard Strat. That was like the best one Fender did. You could buy Schecter parts though, where you would get like a fancier neck, more powerful pickups, you know, the fancy trem, funny tuners. All these things were all made by Schecter, so that basically as a replacement / upgrade. I think their thing was that they were making, like, if you had a 60s Strat, Schecter made a 60s Strat neck to the same spec, as opposed to, you know, putting on a 90s Strat neck. You know, it's not the same. So I think that basically Fender decided to, why don't we make an upmarket one? See, I've definitely seen it in guitar books and stuff as one to think about. I think it's a one-piece ash body as well. I can't see any sort of join on it. So I think it's a one-piece body. Obviously, for the tone, obviously. So I will be doing 2 videos on this because I've just fitted a freeway switch to it. But which I shall be ignoring in this video. Position 2. So I was actually wondering about the lace sensors, whether I was going to put them into my J-Packs #1, which I basically flung that guitar together because the first guitar Jen painted was just a cheapy Strat from a car boot sale, and as soon as I saw it, it was like, I'm having that, and I didn't put the cheapy stuff back on it, so Fender Japan and all that. So I was going to upgrade. I think I'm going to make it HSS. I've got a really nice Scholler humbucker, which kind of has a lace sensory look, and I've got 2 lace sensors, even though I don't have the right ones. I've got a red one and a gold one, so I'll just be putting them like that. I know enough about pickups so that it's not going to make that much difference whether you're moving them about a little bit. I'm not reversing them, I'm just shunting them from there to there, which probably means there'll be a little bit more high output. I'd imagine this will be the lowest output one because the string moves more here, so it's louder. So it'll be, you know, more powerful, medium power, low power is how they would normally work. Jimi Hendrix didn't need that though. His were all the same. Yeah. So in middle position. And here's this fancy tone control, which I'm not really 100% sure what it does, but it works. Doesn't make any difference to me. I never use tone controls. I should though. I know it's part of it there. It was designed to be part of the circuit. The part of a Strat is having a tone control, but I never use it. Position 4. So I'm using the Orange TH30 and a Moore reverb pedal is all that's on in this one. pickup. So, as I said, it's a bit of a sleek and modern, I suppose it's getting, maybe, is it a sports Strat yet? 2-point trem, fancy pickups, locking tuners, extra fret. It's also got 22 frets, which doesn't really mean anything nowadays, but I think in 93 that was a bit of a thing. Fenders only have 21 frets. But I'm really impressed. I'm actually really liking the lace sensors. I didn't think I would. I think, see, because they look like EMGs, I was kind of expecting them to be like EMGs. They're not. They just sound like regular Strat pickups, apart from they're noiseless, apparently. I'm not playing loud enough to notice the noise, but they just sound like really good pickups. It's really what I want, really. Innit? What kind of amp do you want? I want one that sounds really good. Right. Okay. Just sounding really good is all it has to do. Without getting too technical on it. A wee bit of drive, rat pedal. Also, this guitar's been set up. I've not really done anything to it. I was just messing about with the electrics. One thing I did, if you're doing any modding on these things, two minor flaws with this one. One, the strap's just slightly too high. It's not my strap. I just need it to be just a little bit lower. Feeling a little bit weird it being slightly too high. Maybe it's if I didn't have a big belly, it wouldn't sit on it the same way and pivot. On my beer belly, which is it's not beer, but yeah, bucky belly. The other thing was when I was in, obviously I had the scratch plate off, messing about with it, putting that switch in, and the earth wires that are coming from the body and from the thing at the back are white, right? And there's two wires coming from the output socket, a white one and a black one. The white wire being exactly the same type of wire as the earth wires, so I put it on, that must be earth then. Bang, no it's not, it's the other way around. So I've now wired this one the other way. I took it off because I thought when I wired it up, suddenly it's like, this isn't working. And it's like, this sounds very much like a backward jack socket. So there you go. So yes, in this, I think as stock, what earth wires are white, apart from the one that's coming from the jack socket where the earth wire is black and the hot wire is white. Not really a big thing to moan about, but I mean, this one doesn't do it anymore. This one, nice. I've just basically swapped the wires around on the jack socket. But I mean, it's just a really nice Strat. One of the best Strats I've ever played, straight up. I think it's probably been properly set up by somebody at some point. Guitars don't tend to come playing like this unless you paid somebody to do it. Somebody who knows what they're doing. This one doesn't really have any issues in that regard at all. Quite well worn as well. It's got a wee bit of... Oh, what's the owner's favourite notes? That one. There, your favourite notes. The bendy notes are the ones that are worn. Must like that one. That one. That one. Oh, that one. Those notes. It's funny when you see wear on guitars and the... Generally, if you bought like a guitar, it was a beginner's guitar, it's the sort of cowboy chords that are worn out, you know, like generally the second fret round about A and the D, because you've had somebody who's not changed the strings often enough and is holding those strings down with every single ounce of strength they have, which wears the frets out. Whereas my Paul Gilbert there, the fret wear kind of did this, kind of got wider and then back down again, so it was like kind of like this, like that. So they were obviously playing scales like that, whoever it was bought the Paul Gilbert, which I thought was quite amusing at the time. Yeah, so a very nice Strat. These are well known. I think Jeff Beck, the Jeff Beck Strat, which came out a couple of years after this. It was like, how do you respect your Strat? Mr. Beck would like to build a guitar for you. Is that PR? Yeah, I'll have one of those Strat Pluses. in white or yellow or something, you know, that kind of thing. I do know that he wanted the only thing he wanted changed on it, because I've noticed Jeff Beck's got this nut as well. The only thing he wanted changed was he wanted the pickups sound amazing, but can you get ones that have got like the wee metal poles on them so they look normal, because they look like a bit futuristic? And I think the answer was no. So apart from that, super rocking. Yep, so I'll do another video on this. Again, the 4th video on this guitar, since this is now my 3rd. Talking about the freeway switch, which basically, I've been using it just as a 5-way switch. You would never know it was there, but you can also push it in the way and get another 5 sounds. Ooh. Rock on, catch you later, like and subscribe, and love you all.